From picture-perfect family vlogger to one of the most controversial figures of our time, Ruby Franke's fall from grace has left the internet reeling. Known for her 8 Passengers YouTube channel, Ruby's carefully crafted image of parenting and wholesome family took a dark and horrifying turn. Accusations of abuse, manipulation, and shocking revelations have shattered her reputation and left many asking, how did it come to this? Hello everyone and welcome back to Lindsay Unfiltered. And today we are diving into the R for our scandal series, and this all revolves around Ruby Franke, guys. If you guys don't know who Ruby Franke is, she is a Utah woman who was convicted of child abuse. And it wasn't just any child abuse, it was heinous, horrid child abuse that she went into detail about in a journal confiscated and photocopied by police. I have read some of this with some of my subscribers already, and the themes can be distressing. So I want to let everyone know that viewer discretion is advised. If you are triggered by any of the themes that I mentioned earlier, please put your mental health first, okay guys, because this is a deep and grueling read, okay? Ruby Franke quickly climbed the ladder to fame, but no one knew what was really hiding behind closed doors. When she got her 2 younger children alone, no husband, no older children, that's when her demon roared its ugly head, along with an alleged cult leader, Jody Hildebrand. Now we're going to dive into her journal to talk about how she was using gaslighting, religious manipulation, physical abuse to harm these young children. One of the children walked to a neighbor to ask for help. That's when the police were called, and Ruby and Jody were subsequently arrested. Now again, this is a long, grueling read. I'll probably break it into 2 parts just so we can digest all of this material. Without further ado, let's get into this journal. Hello you guys, here we are with Ruby Franke's journal, and a lot of these pages have been redacted. Why the pages were redacted, I have no idea, but if you guys can offer some type of clarification for that, I'd truly appreciate it. I have my handy dandy highlighter, pen, eraser. We're going to analyze this document, and again, like I said, viewer discretion is advised. This is the mother, Ruby Franke's own words documented, right? So she starts off with a timeline, okay? 5/21/23, Jody receives blessing from Temple President Steve Kaplan. 5/22/23, Ruby, AJ, R, and E come down to Jody's to help spring clean. Now these AJ, R, and E are Ruby's kids. Ruby's writing about herself in 3rd person. First red flag here. Steve Kaplan seems interesting as well because Jody did get a blessing from this temple president. And then she goes on to talk about 5/28/23 when they meet Jeremy Jaggi. If you guys have any clarification about Jeremy Jaggi, drop that down in the comments below. We go to the next month, 6/13/23. Jody goes to SLC, Salt Lake City, to meet Jeremy Jaggi and Brad Wilcox. 6/30/23, R refuses to do wall sits. He says he is done. R is Ruby's son, okay? And then we go to the next month, July 1st, 2023. R is to stay outside, sleep outside, only come, I'm assuming this says inside, to use the bathroom and shower. So she says here that she's making her child stay outside and sleep outside. He can only come inside to use the bathroom and take a shower. That's already triggering because of what? Okay, and on 7/14/23, about 13 days later, E, which is her daughter, refuses to work, screams. Why is she working? She's a minor. What is she doing for work? Screams, has hair shaved off. So the shaving of E's hair seems to be a punishment because she doesn't want to do what her abusive mother's telling her to do. The next day, R runs away around 11:15 a.m. Ruby finds him at 3:14 a.m. knowing that is really interesting because R was the one who got help for he and his sister. So R had tried running away several times and was unsuccessful. Can you imagine thinking, I'm free, I need to get out of here, I'd rather run away, I'd rather live on the streets, I'd rather go to jail than be with this woman that is my mother, and she catches you every time, right? Jody, EJ, drive to Arizona and find property, land. What's her obsession with land? I don't know. And then she gets to July 9th, 2023, which is a Sunday. And she says, R turns 12 tomorrow. I never envisioned him being 12 and still pooping and peeing himself. Satanic choices lead one to becoming destitute, even in the most affluential homes. She acknowledges her son's birthday by saying he's still using the bathroom on himself and he's a satanic child. Right. And he makes satanic choices, and that's why he's like that. So we're not thinking anxiety, depression, PTSD, abuse could be the reason for him being so shaken up mentally and emotionally. No, but it's, in her mind, it's a satanic choice, right? July 10th, 2023, Monday. It's R's birthday, and he doesn't know what month it is. Did you tell him what month it is? Huh. E and R have been in so much deviant behavior, they won't control their bodily functions. They are both furious their selfish, sinful lifestyle is being intervened upon. These are children, by the way. I told R he emulates a snake. He slithers and sneaks around looking for opportunities when no one is watching, and then he scurries. If he wants to emulate the Savior, he needs to be 100% obedient with exactness. No wavering, no hiding. Early on, we learned that Ruby Franke is scaring her children, right? Using religious abuse against her children, right? Using God against her children. Building herself up as some type of prophet or a benevolent person that they cannot cross, right? And then she says, R lies. I mean, all the time. She puts periods here. Dramatic, right? He is a compulsive liar. She spells liar wrong. Let's just get into this, okay? Because what's going on here, right? I never would have suspected this entire experience is a shock to my system. I never would have suspected the cold, dead heart R has. Do you think it has anything to do with your behavior? I don't know where to look. He has always been able to get what he wants, and now he can't. He is furious. I told him if he divulged everything, he would automatically begin repenting. She makes sure to say he has always been able to get what he wants, and now that he can't, he's furious. No, he had responsible adults and older siblings in the home that wouldn't let you do what you wanted to him. There's a big difference there, okay? I told R that he needs God. You need God. I invited him to fast and pray. R is in and out of possession. He is workable and calm for a bit and then angry and defiant the next. The only consistent thing about R is that he lies. E is better behaved with Jody. She likes to think that she can still manipulate me. Right? Narcissism. I gave her a pixie haircut. All her long hair is gone. No more distracting with hair. But when we see Ruby, she's full of long hair, right? Oh, my goodness. R told me he would rather have a glass of water than me as his mother. Valid. Tuesday, big day for evil. E manipulates me. She won't scream when Jody is around, but with me she wails. All night, E screamed, cried, and would hit her head on the floor. Today, Jody confronted her. E admits to putting on a show for her mother. E says she wants to be pitiful. R was told to stand in the sun with his sun hat. He is defiant. No. I tell him a couple more times. R, or should I say his demon, stays in the shade. I push R into the sun. R comes back. I come back with a cactus poker, which is a metal tool with a sharp end, right? When I poke his back to get in the sun, R doesn't even flinch. I poke him on the neck. He is in a trance and doesn't appear to feel anything. Jody taps him on the cheeks to wake him up. The devil doesn't like when you get your subject to agree to truth. R, do you know I love you? Yes, ma'am. R, do you know Gijo loves you? Jody Hildebrandt, right? Yes, ma'am. R, do you know the Savior loves you? Yes, ma'am. R wants out of his outcomes. After our talk, R stays in the shade. I take my old mop water and go to R and I show him the water. Then I pour the water on him. It's hot outside. It feels good, doesn't it? Yes. So your mop water that you had chemicals possibly in, bacteria, a dirty mop, you pour it on your son. And then you say, it feels good, doesn't it? And he says yes. An hour later, Gigio takes R on a little walk to the pool. She talks on how he has love twisted. If R likes something someone does, he calls it love. If he doesn't, he thinks it's not loving. Gigio then pushed R into the pool. R swam to the side. Gigio pulled him out. Feel good? Refreshing? Yes, ma'am. I went out a couple hours later and asked if he wanted the pool again. Yes, ma'am. Will you let me push you in? He laughed and then tried not to act too excited. He cooled off and went back to his spot. I put my hands on his face. R, have you ever heard someone talk underwater? Yes, ma'am. I know R is in there somewhere. I know deep down under all this anger, you can hear me. It may sound like I'm underwater with you, but hear me. I love you. R got teary. Then I put my hand tightly over his nose and mouth. I am coming to you in this water and putting my hands on your nose and your mouth. The devil lies and says I'm hurting you, abusing you. But R, what am I really doing? You are putting oxygen on me to help me breathe. Yes, that's right. So you're almost about to drown the kid. And you're telling him, and you're brainwashing him into believing that you're helping him. He knows you're not helping him. He knows you're torturing him. But sometimes he just doesn't have it in him to fight with you because he knows that means more torture, right? R looked like he wanted to beat me up this morning, and then he was intrigued and interested. And then 2 hours later, he drinks water from the house. Steals water. How does someone steal water? R is compulsive. He feels no remorse for his choices. He shuts down and says he wants to go to jail. R says he worships the devil and has no interest in changing. I want the outcome of being changed, but I don't want to do the work that it requires. R doesn't actually know what jail means. He has no comprehension what throwing your life away means. He just wants the immediate gratification of sitting in an air-conditioned car ride to juvie. He wants stimulus. He's so back and forth. He just wants the immediate gratification of sitting in an air-conditioned car ride to juvie. This woman was hell on earth, right? R stole water. He was angry and looked like he wanted to fist up. I should have, probably. I put my hands on his shoulders and told him I love him. I told him he has no idea what he's doing, but I do. I can help him. I told him, give your demon friend a message for me. I will not rest. I will not stop. I will not leave. I will fight him until the day you die. With her saying, I will fight him until the day you bleep, is she assuming that he's going to bleep? That her abuse is going to bleep him? Are you kidding me? I have the power of God and he must obey. I beat Satan. I win. Then I looked in R's eyes with power and authority and commanded, get out now, go. R immediately smiled, cried, slumped, Satan. He's gone. He left. I took E and R on a car drive to the Sherman's gas station. I told E she was never going home. Wow. I showed her pictures of her on the swing under the big tree. She saw a girl who was hiding, who enjoyed tricks. I told her I saw a daughter of God with divine worth. E manipulated during the car drive. R appeared to soften. I stopped the car and we all got out to view the sunset. I told E she needs to stop her fantasy. She is not innocent. She can become innocent through repentance. Don't waste more time. R and E have been counting days. R did know yesterday was his birthday. E told me she figures they had been here 8 weeks. I asked E if she felt like she had made progress over 8 weeks. Yes. I told her she was delusional. She has made no progress. She continues to lie and manipulate. Last night, her screaming and trance head banging were evidence of no change. No, her screaming and head banging were probably evidence of abuse, PTSD, anxiety, a delusional mother, a mentally ill mother, etc., etc. And I can go on and on. 7/12/23 took the kids on a 4-hour car ride. We stopped at Gunlock Lake and I shared my love for them. Really. We watched a baby cow get loose and walk into the road in front of us. I made the analogy of the not so wise calf to them. You don't have to make everything an analogy for them. You don't have to make every waking moment of their lives something they fear. You don't have to do that. Literally. They're taking car rides. They're walking around the house. They're walking outside, and you want to make everything an analogy. You want to make everything a pushing point for you and your cultist behavior. She says, I was keeping them safe when they want to run in the road. We drove up to, I believe this is Vegas. I'm not sure. I bought a volcano pie. I told the kids the pie was to thank Jijo for her home come time. R appeared enraged. E was manipulative. This is the day E anticipates breaking her 2-day fast. When we got home to Jijo, I let R know she has hardened her heart and will do one more day of fasting to invite her to humble. E flips out and begins ranting. She refuses to get up. She lies on the floor all day speaking dishonest chants. Because Jijo is on the prone with clients, I don't go in and match her level of aggression. All day, E makes rhymes about, my mom starves me and calls it fasting. My mom won't lift 2 fingers and bring me food because all she does is lie on the bed and eat brownies. So these children are starving, you're making them fast, but you're eating brownies. My mom says she is the most loving mom in the world. Blah, blah, blah. If I can't ever go home, then what's the point of being obedient? I'm going to run away. Jijo helped me intervene after work. Pattern. Allowing lies to be spewed gives the devil a platform. Articulating lies reinforces possession. The longer the lies are allowed to be spewed, the larger the intervention and physical the intervention needs to be. So you're admitting to large physical interventions on children because of how brainwashed you are. You're brainwashed. They didn't ask to have you as a mother, right? If you felt like children were this much of liars and manipulating and all of these things that you come to believe after having 6 children, a successful YouTube channel showing off the perfect family, the perfect way to parent, why did you ever become a mother? I don't get that. If your children were going to be that much of a burden for you, why become a mother? Why not be single? And you and Jijo can go up a hill, right? Who would there be to blame then, Ruby? I cut more off E head. We doused her with water in the dog wash. So you're putting her in a dog bath, and E said she wanted to run away. I don't blame her. Jody told E she has no idea what is waiting for her. Are you guys talking about when you guys tried to whisk them off into the country so you guys could do whatever you please with them with no remorse and no chance of these young minors getting help? Is that what that was about? I think so. Let's continue through. And on 7/13/23, she says, I may have forgotten to write this. On the 11th, I took R face in my hands and spoke to him through blank, love you. I told him to send the demon a message for me. I will not give up. I will not leave. I am not going nowhere. Get out. R released the demon, and he has been very workable ever since. This morning, the 13th, R broke his fast with brown rice, lentils, black beans, chicken, and water. A hornet kept buzzing around his chicken. I told R to think of the hornet as Satan. Would you become pals with Satan? Would you sell your soul or chicken to a hornet? He will sting you in the end. R trapped the bee with his sun hat. E broke her fast with cheesy potatoes, steak, water, oatmeal, and water. R is full of piss and vinegar. She is mad as a hornet. She doesn't call the shots. The thing I don't understand is, why are you referring to R as she and he throughout this? That is throwing me off. The second thing is, you give these children, you feed them after starving them and malnourishing them, right? And then you torture them around it, right? I saw another creator say this, like, you give him the food, right? And then you make it about you again, right? He can't even eat. He's starving, but he can't even eat in peace. Okay? It's been about 90 minutes since R8. I warned him that food would either energize him to truth or defiance. He is defiant again. His pants and is telling me no. His is too watery to be fasting. He admits to stealing water 3 times yesterday. He lies and feels no remorse. And E is cheating, right? So you're looking through these kids to see if they have eaten when you told them they couldn't eat. It gets that deep. Who knows what the hell else was going on, right? The next page, she says, these selfish children who desire only to take, lie, and attack have zero understanding of God's love for them. They don't know Jijo is selling her home, this priceless Snow Canyon gem. Girl, buy, so she can purchase land where these two can work. They don't want to work. Jijo has been looking for property with Soros cactus and is feeling more imminent the need to get these kids to open land. Why? She is willing to consider less than ideal property for them. This is a spiritual matter. I can't in good faith leave you with these 2 gremlins. I won't do that. Those are God's children. Sorrows don't matter when souls are on the line. 1 hour later, we move quickly. Jody and Jay are going on a road trip to look at property in Arizona. Ruby has some cash in the bank. If the property is right, we can move on financing immediately. We decided the escalation of the kids is not manageable here and now. R is now sitting angry and defiant. E is lying on the floor. We will bring them in. R, I will clean up out in the desert as he has himself. He will then stand/sit on the patio/shaded. Now I'll see him from the kitchen. E, I'll bring into the cool house and she can sit in the pantry. They will think they won. They will think they got what they wanted. They will relax. Because that's what they need, right? It's not a game you're playing with your children. Like, what is this? Then pop. We will drop them like hot potatoes out in the desert. Their new home, you're going to get exactly what you asked for. When she says you're going to get exactly what you asked for, is she referring to going to hell or something like that? Like, she is demented. She's demented. Who taught this woman this? Who taught the woman that taught this woman this? Because I've never heard of nothing like this as someone thinking that this is a form of parenting, or someone thinking that this is the way to get in the good graces of God. I've never, ever heard of such a thing, right? Oppositional force is required for growth, development, maturity. E and R have never experienced oppositional force. So all the things you were doing to them was an oppositional force, not letting them eat, not letting them sleep inside, making them sleep on the all that's an oppositional force. And then she continues to say they are very weak-minded. No, you're weak-minded for allowing to let you do this to your kids. You're weak-minded, sweetheart, okay? So she says here, pattern. Sending evil away in a long time possessed person is not a one and done deal usually. Girl, what? These wicked spirits in E&R have been pals long before this life. How E&R got to come and get a body can only be explained in me advocating to be their mother. This is not a conceited statement. God knew I would take my responsibility to mother seriously. You need to stop this blasphemy, right? Jody volunteered to help. These 2 souls are very weak of mind. They are fools, truly. E said she would choose the devil over God. What arrogant spew. God is patient not to split her with a bolt of lightning. You do not tempt a God who controls your very breath. The disdain and hatred they have for God is beyond my ability to describe. My spirit is offended. I shudder to think I would never have seen this had I not pushed on them. She says holding principle, like she's building some type of cult leader book here. Boundaries will show you how much possession a soul has. The more boundaries, the more the soul will reveal itself. Trial will reveal a soul because of the inherent limits built into a tribulation. Back to sending evil away. Articulating truth drives evil away. There's a powerful intervention for the possessed. Even if you can start by agreeing to something truthful. You are a daughter of God. True? Yes, ma'am. Principle. Following up on articulating a desire for evil to leave with the demonstration of obedience is powerful. Demonstrating a willingness to follow truth is a pattern. I guess that's just going on a rant because she's deranged. The Savior used in his interactions. Go sell all you have and follow me, and go and sin no more. Go wash 7 times. Go and tell no one. Go and tell the city. Go and preach my gospel. Go feed my sheep. If you can engage a weak-minded soul in a physical activity of obedience, you can begin to break the bond Satan made with the weak. Physically stop acting out behaviors and begin physically doing good. Farm work, lifting boxes, exerting energy, exercises, jump rope, milking cows, weeding a garden, digging trenches. Satan cannot be where there is good. Begin doing and sweating for good. Heavy physical intensity. Capture your attention. Is she nuts? So your children need to be doing heavy physical intensity to please you, right? I believe this woman truly believes what she's writing. She's that far gone. Now, before she met Jody, I think it was in her, but Jody brought the beast out of her. Her daughter just came out with a book highlighting the abuse and the rise of their 8 Passengers channel. And Sherry describes Ruby as someone who's cold and very aloof from her children and her family. But in the beginning, it was just that. It seemed like when she met with Jody Hildebrandt, that's when the larger nefarious scale of the operation came into play, along with her husband being banished from the home and her older children saying, we got to get the hell, right? I don't think the older children thought she would do this, though. She continues and says, the problem for ENR, the hard labor is all for the sake of lifting, does not have meaning or do good. We need property where a ranch can be built. Good can be done. Outcomes of prosperous choices can be seen, experienced, and felt. And the kids need a good kick from a horse and a cactus to run into. They need natural outcome. I asked R what he was thinking about since he was sitting in the shade and had what he wanted. R answered, what I want. Me. What do you want? More different foods and a soft bed? Me. Why don't you ask Satan? Do you think Satan will give you those things? R says no. Ruby says, why not? R, because he doesn't have the power. Me. Why would you serve a God who has no power to give you your desires? Dumb. You're manipulating him. You asked him to ask one person. He said he doesn't have the power. And then you're going to say that he said it about God, right? So R is silent. Blank had another episode with demons. She gives herself to them. She agreed to stop being deceptive with her facial expressions and crying and whining. Whining is the devil's voice. Whining is always a demon. Hurt facial expressions blame me for her misery. It is E at the center of her misery. Her face is deceptive. After E did stare, she sat on the park bench looking at mountain views. She was told to sit and be still and eat her dinner. Carrots, hummus, grilled cheese, water. E, in a power play, brought her empty plate to the door and removed her sun hat. Now, as you guys can see, this is wild. I don't know how many of you have seen this, but The details in this document are truly wild, to where you have to take a break to absorb what exactly you're reading. So we're going to take a break here, and we're going to finish up the rest of the diary on the next video around. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. What the hell is wrong with Ruby Franke, to where she thinks her children are public enemy number one? She thinks her children are the enemy. Why would she send her husband away, get the older kids out of the house, just to trap these younger two and do this to them? It seems like some type of twisted experiment, right, that her and Jody wanted to do. And they knew the children were too weak, too young, and too vulnerable to stand up against them, right? It's crazy. It's absolutely unheard of, right? And then she documents it like she's some type of prophet or savant or something crazy. It's absolutely crazy, guys. The next 30 or so pages don't get any easier. If you do want to dive into it with me, make sure to hit that follow button and comment down in the comment section below. We have a lot to discuss with this, guys. This is huge. This is heavy. And I want your opinion. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will be back with the second part. I also am reading Sherry Franke's book. That's our eldest daughter. And I feel like we're going to do a book review on that one too. So stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. This has been Lindsay Unfiltered. Bye now.